This is Chris McDaniels. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris McDaniels, and follow me on all my social media accounts. I'll be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my WWE Monday Night Raw, June 16th, 2025 reviews. So here we're going to be discussing about tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, where we kick off the show with the WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, one half of them, Liv Morgan, and the Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. So yeah, we kick off the show with them two. They come out there, and Liv Morgan was talking about what she did to Nikki Bella last week, because Nikki Bella disrespected her and did not mention her name, and she was talking about how she laid her out, and now she's at home watching on the TV screen, and that's where she always belongs. So yeah, that's what Liv Morgan was talking about Nikki Bella there. And then she starts talking about Io Sky, where Io Sky told Nikki Bella that she paved the way for her and so many other women. And then she says that nobody paved the way for herself. So yeah, that's what Liv Morgan was talking about there. And yeah, then after that, we see the WWE Women's World Champion, Io Sky. She comes out there, and yeah, they was going back and forth and everything. Io Sky was talking about Nikki Bella and all that, but then it was talking about Liv Morgan. And then Liv Morgan was pretty much telling Io Sky that, you know, that if she wants her to fight her, then the only way she's going to fight her is for the title. And Io Sky says that you going to have to earn the title match. And Liv Morgan was saying that, you know, she already done beat Io Sky so many times, so she's better off handing it over. And the Io Sky was like, okay, I'll hand it over. She tosses the title to Liv Morgan. Then after that, Io drop kicks her, knocking her out of the ring. And then Dominic was trying to help Liv up, but then he gets kicked in the back of the head by Io, rolling out the ring as well. So yeah, that's what happened there, starting off Raw, where Io Sky confronted Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio tonight. Pretty good segment. I liked it. It looks like we're going to get Io Sky versus Liv Morgan, possibly at Night of Champions, it seems like. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good segment. But yeah, up next will be the Fatal 4-Way match in the first round of the Queen of the Ring tournament. It will be Stephanie Vaquer versus Asuka versus Ivy Nile versus Raquel Rodriguez up next on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, that match is up next, and there's going to be another Fatal 4-Way match for the first round of the King of the Ring tournament later on tonight, where it'll be Sheamus versus Rusev versus Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. So yeah, many more stuff to happen tonight on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So, the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, we get to the first match of the night, but before we talk about that match, we got to talk about what happened backstage. So, yeah, we see Raquel Rodriguez getting ready for her match backstage, and then Liv Morgan comes up and tells her that she needs to win. So, yeah, that's what she tells Raquel, and then Raquel was like, got it, and then she walks out there. So, yeah, we'll get to the first match of the night. It was Stephanie Vaquer versus one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Raquel Rodriguez, versus Ivy Nile versus Asuka. Asuka makes her return, and she comes back with her old theme song. So yeah, it was amazing to hear her old theme song play. Once again, she returns with it. That was amazing. And yeah, we get to this match. In this match, it was a really great match. All four of these women was beating the hell out of each other, coming up near falls and everything. We see Stephanie hitting the Devil's Kiss onto Raquel Rodriguez on the ring apron, which was pretty cool, and that Asuka was doing everything that she can do. You know, she's been out of action for like, what, a little bit over a year now, and yeah, she was doing really good in this match. The fans was into it and everything, but then we started getting towards the ending of this match, where we see Ivy now hit her finish move onto Asuka. She pinned her 1, 2, Stephanie breaks at the pin at the count of 2. We see Stephanie fighting back and everything, taking out Ivy Nile, hitting the SVB onto Ivy Nile, but then Raquel Rodriguez comes in there, and we see Raquel hitting the Tejada Bomb onto Stephanie. She pins her 1, 2, the pin gets broken up at the count of 2, but by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley drags Raquel out of the ring. Raquel couldn't believe it. She got back up to her feet. She gets hit with the headbutt by Ripley, and then Rhea hits her with the Riptide onto her outside of the ring. She picks up Raquel, throws her back into the ring, and then we see Asuka hit the hip attack running from the ropes onto Raquel Rodriguez, pinning her for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Asuka defeated Raquel Rodriguez, Stephanie Vaquer, and Ivy Nile tonight in the Fatal 4 match in the first round of the Queen of the Ring. So yeah, on Friday Night SmackDown, it will be Alexa Bliss versus Asuka one-on-one in the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. So yeah, that's what happened there. Really great match between all four of these women right here. And then after the match ended, we see Kathy Kelly getting into the ring, interviewing Asuka inside the ring, and Asuka was talking about how the fire still burns inside of her, and she says that she's going to win the Queen of the Ring tournament. So yeah, that's what Asuka says there. But yeah, great match to start off the show, really. I'll give that match 4 stars. That's why I'll give it great Fatal 4 match between all 4 of these women. But yeah, really good one. But yeah, there's still another Fatal 4 match later on tonight for the King of the Ring tournament on Monday Night Raw. But up next, we're going to be hearing from the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther up next on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So, the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, before we talk about the next segment of the night, we got to talk about a segment that happened backstage. So yeah, we seen everybody from the Judgment Day talking backstage. Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough. We see Raquel Rodriguez on the couch. We see Roxanne Perez talking to him as well. And then Liv Morgan comes in there and wants to talk about strategy to Raquel. And Raquel's like, look, I'm hurting and all that stuff. Can we do it some other time, pretty much? And then Liv was not too happy about that. And then she actually walks out. Yeah, she's about to crash out. But then we see Dominic talking to Finn, talking about how JD McDonough is going to have a match against AJ Styles tonight, and Finn was somehow he's going to be there at ringside for JD. And then Dominic says that, you know, you didn't finish the job with AJ Styles last time, and he tells Finn that it's better off if he stays backstage. And Finn tells him that, well, how about you go out there with JD then? And Dominic was like, you know what, you're right, I'll go out there with JD. And they walked out. And then Finn tells Raquel that everything will be okay. Liv is just going in her head so much. And then he says to Roxanne that, you know, he wants to talk to her outside. And then they walked off. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then after that, we get to the next segment of the night where we see the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. He comes out there and he had a bunch of pyro going off for him, celebrating his World Heavyweight Championship win over Jey Uso last week on Monday Night Raw. And yeah, Gunther was standing inside the ring and he starts talking. He starts talking about how, you know, he lost the world title at WrestleMania, but he finally won it back last week on Monday Night Raw. And then he starts talking about Seth Rollins, where he said that Seth Rollins was talking about cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase, but then he tells Seth that, you know, he's right there if Seth wants to come out. But then, instead of Seth Rollins coming out, it was the return of Goldberg. Goldberg comes out there, and yeah, Goldberg gets into the ring, he starts talking to Gunther, and he tells him that, you know, that he is happy for Gunther, that he won the World Heavyweight Championship and all that. He says that he was watching, he wanted to come out here to celebrate with Gunther and all that stuff. And then he tells Gunther that he still didn't forget about what happened a few months ago at Bad Blood in Atlanta, Georgia. And he says that Gunther wanted to start some stuff with him and his family in Atlanta, Georgia. And he says that he wants to finish it in Atlanta, Georgia. And he says that it'll be Goldberg versus Gunther one-on-one for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event on July 12th in Atlanta, Georgia. So yeah, that's what Goldberg tells Gunther right there, confronting him. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty decent segment, you know, but we'll see how this match comes about. But yeah, that's what happened there. So yeah, and there's still more stuff to come later on tonight on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later. Till then. So, the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, we get to the next match of the night. It was AJ Styles versus JD McDonough with the Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio at ringside. So yeah, we get to this match. In this match, it was a pretty good match between JD and AJ Styles. Dominic Mysterio kept on trying to interfere in this match a couple of times. Like at one point, AJ was up there on the top turnbuckle, and then Dominic gets up on the ring apron, so AJ gets down and tries to knock Dominic off the apron, but he quickly jumped down. But then JD comes up trying to hit his finish move onto AJ, but then AJ rolls him through like a headlock roll through pretty much, and then grabs him, hitting the Styles Clash onto JD, pinning him for the 3 count. So yeah, AJ Styles defeated JD McDonough tonight in a one-on-one match. That's what happened there. Pretty good matchup. For that match, I'll give it 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. But then after the match ended, we see AJ Styles grabbing on to the Intercontinental Championship and everything because it got left in the ring by Dominic Mysterio. And then Finn Balor comes out there, and then Finn, Dominic, and JD surrounds the ring. But then as soon as they get into the ring, Styles quickly runs through Finn Balor, quickly getting out of the ring, like, through the same area. So yeah, that's what happened there, and AJ Styles is holding up the Intercontinental Championship while walking off with it. But yeah, that's what happened there. But then after that, we see Sheamus backstage talking to Akira Tozawa, Maxine Dupree, and Natalia Alpha Academy. And yeah, Tozawa tells Sheamus to kick Rusev's ass. So yeah, that's what happened there, and apparently they said that Otis will be back soon. But yeah, still to come later on tonight, we'll see that Fatal 4-Way match in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. But up next, we'll be seeing Bayley up next on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So, the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, we get to the next segment of the night when we see Bayley. She comes out there to the ring. Actually, when she was walking backstage, it was pretty funny, where she walks by the New Day and with Grayson Waller there arguing with Austin Theory, and the way how Xavier was dressed up like a pimp and all that, I'm surprised Bayley didn't bust out laughing. But yeah, that's what happened there. But yeah, then we get Bayley. She comes out there to the ring, and then she starts talking inside the ring, talking about what happened a few months ago at WrestleMania, where Becky Lynch attacked her and ruined an opportunity for her to become a women's tag team champion once again. So yeah, that's what Bayley was talking about there. And Bayley was talking about why she got her hands back on Becky Lynch last week on Raw and all that stuff with that, and talking about how Becky was right about a couple things, but wasn't right about everything. So yeah, that's what Bayley was saying there. But then she calls out Becky Lynch, and yeah, the Women's Intercontinental Champion does come out there. Becky Lynch comes out there and she starts talking inside the ring. Somehow she's not going to be turning her back on Bayley because she likes to sneak attack people. So yeah, that's what she says there. And yeah, both of them's going back and forth and everything in the promos, and then Bayley says that she wants a match against Becky Lynch for the title and stuff, and then Becky Lynch says that, yeah, sure thing, we can have a match for the title, but it won't be here in Green Bay, it's going to be in Columbus. So yeah, that's what she was saying there. And yeah, that's what happened there. It sets up a match between them two then, because Becky was talking about how Bayley don't know how it feels to wear gold, and Bayley was like, yeah, she can't remember the last time how it feels to wear gold, but she wants to take her gold. So yeah, that's how this match came all about. And then we see Becky slapping Bayley where she kind of like missed it, really, and then Bayley hits her with the forearm, knocking her out of the ring. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good segment to set up their one-on-one match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. But then after that, we see Kathy Kelly talking to Jey Uso backstage, interviewing him, and Jey was talking about how he respects Gunther, how Gunther apparently respects him now, but he says that Gunther got to watch his back with Seth Rollins and Goldberg and everything, but he says that, that he's going to be running it back pretty soon, because he says that he's going to win the King of the Ring tournament, and how he's going to be facing Gunther once again. So yeah, that's what Jey Uso says there. And yeah, that Fatal 4-Way match will be later on tonight. But up next, it'll be Liv Morgan versus Kairi Sane one-on-one up next on Raw. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, we get to the next match of the night, which is very unfortunate. But before we talk about that, we got to talk about a segment that happened backstage. So yeah, we see the SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis there. And yeah, apparently Adam Pearce is not on Raw tonight, but Nick Aldis gets AJ Styles to bring back the Intercontinental Championship, but then he tells him that, at Night of Champions, it will be Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. So yeah, that's what he tells Styles. And then Bayley comes up, and Nick Aldis tells her, then the match is now made official between her and Becky Lynch, since, Bayley had an opportunity at WrestleMania and Becky Lynch took that away from her, that next week on Raw, it will be Becky Lynch defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship up against Bayley. So yeah, that's what he tells her there. and then Bayley walks off, and Bayley runs into Lyra Valkyria, and then Lyra Valkyria was talking about the how she did not know that Bayley was going to return last week, and Bayley was like, "Look, I'm sorry that I didn't call you back or answer your text messages and all that." But then she tells her that she's been dealing with a lot of stuff for the past 2 months and how she has to do her and all that. And Lyra Valkyria is like, "Look, I understand. You gotta do what you gotta do." So yeah, that's what she tells her there. But then after that, we get to the next match of the night. It was one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Liv Morgan versus Kairi Sane, 1-on-1. This match doesn't last long. It only lasts a couple of seconds because as soon as this match started, they started grappling and all that. And then we see Kairi taking down Liv Morgan. And Liv, when she hit the mat coming down, it looked like she injured her shoulder possibly. So that's what it looked like there. It wasn't Kairi Sane's fault at all. And yeah, it was just unfortunate. And then the doctors was checking out Liv Morgan. It looks like Kairi Sane won the match because of that. So that's what happened there. And hopefully it's not bad. I really hope not. But yeah, that's what happened there. Kairi Sane defeats Liv Morgan by ref stoppage there. So yeah. Not going to rate the match. But yep, that's what happened there. But yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later. Till then. So the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, we got to talk about the main event now. But before we talk about that match, we got to talk about a segment that happened backstage. So yeah, we see Sami Zayn getting interviewed by Kathy Kelly. And yes, Sami was talking about the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament because he'll be going to SmackDown this Friday to face Randy Orton 1-on-1. So yeah, that's what he was talking about there. But then Karrion Kross comes up, and Kross was talking about how Sami's going to lose. He's going to lose to Randy Orton, and what's going to happen is that he's never going to win the World Heavyweight Championship because of people like him that thinks that they're going to keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again until something happens and succeeds and all that, but that's never the case. So yeah, that's what Kross was talking about there. And then Sami was talking about how after he gets done with the King of the Ring tournament, that the first thing he's going to do is get his hands on Karrion Kross. So yeah, that's what he tells Karrion Kross, because he says that all Kross does is a lot of talk and never goes out to the ring. So yeah, that's what Sami was telling Kross. But yeah, then after that we get to the main event. It was main event Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed with Paul Heyman at ringside versus Sheamus versus Rusev 1-on-1. A fatal 4-way match in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. So yeah, we get to this match. In this match, it was a pretty good match. All four of these guys beating the hell out of each other. We see Rusev locking all the accolade onto Jey, and then Sheamus comes in, hitting the bro kick on the Rusev, getting a 2 count out of that. And then we see Bronson Reed laying out Sheamus, hitting the tsunami at one point on Sheamus, getting a 2 count out of that because Jey breaks at the pin. But then Jey and Bronson was going at it back and forth and everything. And then we started to see Jey taking control, hitting some super kicks on the Bronson, and then he hits a massive spear onto Bronson Reed. He climbs up the top turnbuckle, about to hit the Uso splash up until Braun Breaker comes out of nowhere, pushing Jey off the top turnbuckle. And then that's when Sami Zayn comes up, brawling with Braun Breaker outside of the ring, running him into the ring post. But then Breaker starts coming back, picking up Sami for a military press, sending him across the announce table, laying him out. And then Braun turns around, he gets hit with a front flip senton by Penta, coming out of nowhere from jumping over the top rope. And then after that, we see Bronson Reed grabbing Jey, and then he hits a Death Valley driver onto Jey. He climbs up the top turnbuckle, about to hit the tsunami onto him, but then LA Knight comes up, pushing Bronson Reed off the top turnbuckle, and then that gives Jey the opportunity to climb up the top turnbuckle, jumping off with a Uso splash onto the back of Bronson Reed, and then he climbs up the top turnbuckle again, hitting a second Uso splash onto Bronson Reed, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Jey Uso defeated Sheamus, Rusev, and Bronson Reed tonight in the Fatal 4-Way match in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. That's what happened there. So Jey Uso qualifies into the semifinals of the tournament, where he'll be facing Cody Rhodes next week on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening there. But then after all that stuff, we see Seth Rollins coming out there. He's all pissed off, and it looks like he's getting into the ring about to attack Jey Uso, up until Cody Rhodes comes running out there, and he gets face to face with Seth, and it looks like both of them was about to brawl. But then Seth decides to get out of the ring, And then we see Seth, Braun, Bronson, and Paul staring at Cody and Jay because Jay done got back up to his feet. And then Jay and Cody started staring at each other to end off the show. But yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good match, and all that stuff was pretty good after the match and everything. I'll give it 4 stars. That's why I'll say that was match of the night right there. But yeah, pretty good match. But yeah, for tonight's episode, Monday Night Raw, I'll give it 9 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good episode for the most part. The Fatal 4 matches was pretty good. We had Goldberg return tonight, which was alright. And, you know, it was unfortunate that Liv Morgan got injured, and hopefully she'll be back really soon. They announced that she had dislocated shoulders, so that's what happened there. But yeah, that has been my Monday Night Raw reviews. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris McDaniels. And follow me on all my social media accounts. I'll be down there in the description box. And I'll see you guys later for tomorrow night's NXT reviews. See you guys later. Till then.